Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. This is going to be another episode of Reforge Gaming News, and in this episode, we're talking about Starfield. I've got news, I've got leaks. I want to argue that this is the new Xbox flagship. I've got reasons for that. There are some leaks and some bad things we're hearing about the engine and the game. We're taking some of that with a grain of salt, though, and we wanted to really make the case for this because this is also in light of something that we covered just this morning. Halo Infinite Season 2 just not looking to be what everybody was hoping for. While there is some good things there, we talked about what they need to do to save Halo Infinite, and I do believe that that baton is being passed rather unceremoniously to Starfield. Halo is no longer the flagship of the Xbox, and a lot of it has to do with how Halo Infinite launched and how Halo Infinite was received. I'm going to bring everybody over from that live stream right now. And I always try to dive in and give you the goods right away whenever we have these topics and coverage, and we do it in the form of an update. And the reason we do that is we want you to be able to have all the good information right on the outset. And again, I'm not going to get into the leaks per se and the engine in that portion, but we will be discussing that in the actual discussion and the live stream. This is a Reforge update. Starfield is the next Xbox flagship, at least I think so, according to information and analyzing the decisions that are being made, as well as some of the discussion points that we've seen. This is also in light of everything that has been happening with Halo Infinite and the complete drop in interest with Halo Infinite Season 2. We've been trying to cover that over on our Reforge Gaming channel to a significant lack of interest and sort of a depressed state in the community. Now, there are those that are hopeful, and we did argue how they can fix Halo Infinite because I do think it has potential, but I don't think it's the flagship for Xbox any longer. If you like these quick Reforge updates, hit subscribe and the bell button. That way you don't miss my uploads, or be sure to check out Reforge Gaming where I stream the discussions live. So why do I think this? Well, first and foremost, as I just said, Halo Infinite has failed to hit the mark. Their seasons are too long, the quality is lacking, there's been massive player exodus, and they're still pushing out basically features and systems in the beta form. They're not launching a complete product, and I think that is putting Halo on the back seat. I believe that Starfield is the new flagship, and one of the reasons I see that being the case is it is the first, or one of the first, next-gen only titles for the Xbox platform. This has been a big complaint from consumers about some of the bigger titles offering cross-gen support on Sony PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. When you think about moving consoles and you think about ushering in a new era for Xbox, Starfield being positioned to lead that charge, I think from Microsoft's perspective, this is the new flagship title to move those consoles and to get those people in the Microsoft ecosystem. There's also the Game Pass element of this, a big giant title that's worked on by one of their largest acquisitions is going to be put on Game Pass. That's another part of that Microsoft ecosystem that they care so much about, and I think they see Starfield as being integral in that strategy. Now, many think this is a very intentional push. They bought Bethesda and they're putting their brand new IP on next gen only, as well as in the Game Pass funnel. You have to think about what that means from the sense of priority and spending money and where they see it fitting in the identity of the platform. They spent a significant amount of money to get Bethesda, and when they work on this brand new, it supposedly is breathtaking. We're hearing from people who have seen it and that are working on it. They're saying that this game is actually going to blow people's minds, which I know that sounds like fluff, and it probably is to a degree. However, if you look at the series of events there, buying a really big company, their really big, ambitious new IP, making it next gen only, and putting it in the Game Pass funnel, this is their new flagship. That is what I think. One analyst said that this push shows a commitment to both move consoles and Game Pass. This isn't just them buying a temporary contract with like Outriders or something to throw it on Game Pass. They see this as a commitment, and this is a move strategy-wise to move both consoles and Game Pass. A game interwoven into the two-pronged strategy of Microsoft tells a very, very large story, and it is not just another benefit, I think, for the ecosystem. It's more central than that. Microsoft sees Starfield as central to their strategy going forward. That is the case that I am making. Overall, if you look at the traditional sort of format, they used Halo to get people on the system, then Halo or to move new consoles. That can't happen. Halo got delayed, launched in an unideal state with the multiplayer in beta. While the campaign was praised, it certainly did not land in the way that you would want a long-standing flagship title to land. I think it's Starfield's turn to pick up the baton and run with it. The question is, will it succeed in doing that? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and as always, hit subscribe and the bell button, and I'll see you in the next video. And I didn't give you a recap, Creature. I didn't think I had. It was going to sound super repetitious to do one there. We try to do recaps at the end of those videos. I just couldn't do one. It was just going to be like me saying the same thing I just said. Too close copy pasta for a good video. So, a coffee order. 3 bags of light roast from JW. That's 2 coffee orders for the day. Can we get 3? Thank you so much for that. Guys, if you are enjoying the stream, make sure and smash the like button. Remember, this is a new stream, so switch over to live chat and smash the like button. Get us our first 100 likes, and let me know what you think. We were debating Starfield before we came over, arguing the difference between in-engine capture and gameplay, and I have been contesting that claim that they have. I'm claiming that they haven't shown us gameplay yet. Okay. They have not shown us gameplay yet, and I think that is because they have something pretty significant planned. There is an official Xbox Bethesda showcase for June the 12th. It's a Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and that will be where they finally show us both, I think, significant gameplay and outline a release date. So that's what I think. I think Starfield's it. I think they're bumping Halo from being like a flagship title. I don't think they're like doing anything mean or bad to Halo, but I do think they are saying, nope, this is our new flagship. Starfield will be in the branding. It'll be out there on the forefront. June 12th is when God Howard steps out and does his thing, says Big Mad Mo. Technically, that's a tea order, says Zubair. Oh, yeah, if you order light roast coffee, you're ordering tea. Forza is next gen. Was Forza next gen only, Willie? Or can you get that on the old systems? As I was saying, Starfield was going to be the first. I said it's going to be one of the first next gen only. So it's not the first, but it's one of the first titles. Oh, Forza's on everything, says Paul. Oh. Well, then is Starfield the first next-gen only Microsoft release? Is that it? Forza 5 is cross-gen. Okay. No, I wasn't sure. I thought Starfield was like the first. My bad. I misread the comment. It's next-gen graphically, but you're correct. It's cross-gen playable. Redfall and Starfield. Do we have a release date yet for Redfall, Mo? Well, I don't know if we do or not. From first party. Dark roast is the way, says Ganks. You're either with me or you're my enemy. Well, if you guys feel like ordering coffee to declare your allegiance to light or dark roast, feel free to do that with the coffee command or the link below in the description if you're watching the VOD. Those coffee orders help support what we do directly as well as paid memberships. So does smashing the like button and clicking subscribe. We want to hear from you. What do you think about what I am saying? I think that Halo essentially dropped the ball and Microsoft has shifted its strategy and they see Starfield as being absolutely central to the future of the platform. It is a flagship, if not the flagship title moving forward. That is what I think. Anyone here have a Series S and kind of regret not getting the X? I'm wishing that I never got the S, says JW. Yeah, I think there are some people that probably made that purchase out of desperation and probably regret it. I'm not trying to knock the system. I mean, as a personal decision, you're like, man, I wish I would have waited. I could see that 100%. Light roast for the win. All about the caffeine, says Revan. The light always wins, says Mr. Gloom. Bethesda will be the lead main studio. So Xerox, you think it's bigger than just flagship title? You think Bethesda's their lead studio, even with the Activision Blizzard, even with the acquisition acquisition. It's Activision and acquisition. Like, even with them buying Blizzard Activision, you think that that's the case, that Bethesda's the lead dev, the lead studio. You think Starfield could be live service because it's going to have a beta? Yeah, I don't know, Paul, if they're going to go live service or not. I mean, I would imagine with everything they're saying and all the work they're putting into it, it's going to be an ongoing game. Have they specified whether it's ongoing or not? Like the term beta versus demo. That doesn't necessarily mean live service, though. Creature coming back in and renewing his membership to Reforge Gaming on YouTube. Thank you so much. Just watched the Season 2 stream, and I'm really hyped about it, says Grim Brother, about Halo. I don't know if they're doing live service. I have a PS5 and an Xbox Series S. I haven't played the Xbox in a while, says Life Flows. I was expecting to play Halo more, but I'm looking forward to Starfield. I had to manually renew. No wonder we're struggling with members. You know what, Creature? I had a theory about that last night. The reason some people had to manually renew and their membership dropped is YouTube is experimenting on what do you do with the gifted membership, right? Like, the membership just needs to drop the features and the membership after 30 days, and I think they were experimenting with that, and I think it broke some people's memberships. Zubair says, I got the S when I couldn't get an X. I thought of it as the best last-gen console and not a next-gen console. My sister took it when I finally got an X, says Zubair. Do you think they give us a release date for Starfield in June? Yes. There is an Xbox Bethesda event June the 12th, which is a Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. We will be covering that if I'm able. I should be able to, even though it's a Sunday. Butter says 100% Bethesda could take over. Activision makes what games that are not Call of Duty? We have a release date, says Crazy Cliff. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I was thinking of gameplay when they asked that question. Yeah, the release date is November the 11th. That's 2 days after my birthday, so that's well timed. So yes, I'm sorry. The release date's November 11th. I was thinking of gameplay. I think they finally show us extensive gameplay on June the 12th, right? May also has some big things happening as well, so we should start to really cook back up again with good gaming news and events and things happening and goings on once we get into May and June, because currently it's gotten pretty dry with respect to gaming news. Bethesda isn't taking over, and Activision catalog is huge. Yeah, the Activision catalog is significantly bigger than Call of Duty. I don't think Bethesda is taking over, but the statement was made that they're going to become the lead studio for Microsoft. My contention has nothing to do with Bethesda. I'm looking at Microsoft's strategy and how they're treating Starfield, and I'm like, this game, this is their new flagship. This is the game that matters to them more than any other game. Like, this is it. There is no Halo anymore in their mind. Like, as a flagship, I'm not saying they're not going to support Halo and help Halo get into a good place and make sure they have funding and stuff. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this is 100% for them. This is a shift. This is them shifting away from Halo being the flagship. That's what I think. May 1st, I feel there's going to be multiple faces. Senua, here's why I don't think you can make Senua the face. Because that's a one-off game, right? And that's not the kind of game you just keep making content with. Doom Guy, again, I mean, maybe, because they definitely do that with single-player games on PlayStation, but I'm telling you, I think Starfield is the lead. You can have other flagships, Mo. I think that's how I want to say it. You can have multiple flagship titles and multiple iconic games that are central to the Xbox brand. I think Starfield's the lead. Dead center every time. They're going to shove that out as the lead. No longer making Halo center stage. That's what I think. They're going to milk Senua. Microsoft is known for milking their franchises. Yeah, but I don't think Ninja Theory's going to let them do that to that brand. No way. They'll put her everywhere, yes, but they're not going to start trying to crank out a new Hellblade every couple of years. It's not that kind of game. Just look at how long it's taking it to come out to begin with in their shift to Unreal 5. I don't see that being the case. Senua has at least one more game. Oh, definitely. I think they turn Hellblade into a trilogy. I definitely agree with that. You're not going to get disagreement about that. Like, Hellblade definitely turns into a trilogy with the second and third game landing primarily on Microsoft's platforms, but I don't know. They only need one flagship, says Creature, and it's clearly not Halo. I'm going to ask you, let's just do this. Starfield. Will it be alive? Starfield, will it be a live service game? Yes or no? I think it will be a live service game. I think Starfield's going to be an ongoing live service game. That's what I think. Guys, 20 more likes on the video for our first 100 likes. This is a new stream. Welcome in if you've never been here before or if you missed this morning's stream. We're talking Starfield. I think it's the new flagship. We talked about Halo this morning. The interest just really wasn't there. We came over here a little bit earlier. If you've never been here before, we do video gaming news. It's a talk show Monday through Friday. If you haven't been seeing my streams or getting notifications, make sure and check your subscription feed every day or my channel every day. We are here Monday through Friday doing live streams, talking video game news, variety gaming coverage. I am safe for work, so you can subscribe in confidence. Thanks so much for being here. Only on Microsoft platforms? Well, no. Halo, no, I'm sorry. Hellblade, if you're talking about Hellblade, you can't, PC is not a Microsoft platform. It's not the Microsoft ecosystem. Hellblade 2 will be available on PC, in Steam, I'm assuming. Hang on. Todd was asked about this 4 years ago. Okay. Describing the game as the next epic single-player game from Bethesda, Howard said that Starfield would not be a shared world, always online game like Fallout 76. However, when asked by Keighley whether the game would be strictly single-player experience, he responded saying, "Whether it has some social connection, I don't know. I don't want to guess right now. So even if the game is not strictly solo, offline sort of experience, any online multiplayer or multiplayer adjacent features will not be particularly expansive." And that was 4 years ago. I don't know. I could see them dramatically shifting strategy. You can still do live service even if it's not online, can you not? Can't they do an ongoing experience even if you can't play with other people? But he's saying always online game. Live service doesn't necessarily need to be always online with other people. What if they just do regular updates, an ongoing experience? It's always getting updated, always adding, always doing more. I think the beta test is for network testing, says Paul. So you think they have added a multiplayer component, Paul? Lifeflow says, Lono, do you think the Xbox Series S will actually run Elder Scrolls 6 by the time it comes out? Or is there a possibility of a Cyberpunk PS4 situation? I honestly don't know. I mean, the difference in power between the Series S and the X, I don't know how significant it is with regard to Elder Scrolls 6. How do we know so little about this game? Is it being developed by the CIA? This is actually par for the course for Bethesda, man. They keep things wrapped up and quiet. It's hard to know what's coming and when, and they do this fairly regularly. Yeah. 2025, 2026 is the date for Elder Scrolls 6. Yeah, by then there'll probably be a stronger version of the X, I would imagine. There'll be an Xbox Series X, Plus or Pro or Hyper. I don't know what the frick they'll call it. Matasbo says it will be DLC updates. Yeah, the Xbox Triple X. Yeah. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about Starfield news and leaks. There was a leak. I will say this. There was a Starfield leak that's a little worrying, okay? This is a little worrying. We got to take this with a grain of salt. But there was a leak concerning Starfield. Somebody who no longer is at the company and working on the game, basically said that the engine is bad. The engine is crap, is what this person said, and that the flight controls and stuff aren't too great right now. Let me try and find the leak. Now, people are saying that it's bogus, it's not true. They're saying it isn't real. Again, you got to take these sorts of things with a grain of salt. Let me pull it up here and read you exactly what was stated. Former Bethesda employee leaked Starfield details, and basically what they said was, Here it is. It was a cool, solid place to work, very secure. The engine is a piece of crap, though. Todd is a charismatic guy for sure. Starfield's looking good. Weekly Thursday playtest since the beginning of the year. More and more stuff coming online. Shooting feels alright. Flying is terrible at the moment, in my opinion, just not fun for me. Lighting and stuff is looking better and better, though it's not on the level of Horizon Forbidden West or anything like that, but still a good-looking game. In terms of if it will ship on time, well, they will try that for sure. They'll cut what they did to ETC. They have an overabundance of content, probably too much, so that's not the issue. Finding the fun and, of course, bug fixing is the big thing. It's a sexy date, though, and you only get one of those. Beta is this summer, then that's when the picture truly becomes clear, right? Could be disgruntled employee, just talking trash. It doesn't sound like a disgruntled, it doesn't sound like a disgruntled employee. And they also said, the beta's coming this summer, that's when the picture will truly become clear. It's not formed like a review bomb at all in my mind. I'm not saying this is real, but I don't think we can just dismiss this and say, it's just some disgruntled employee, it reads like a review bomb. It was a cool, solid place to work, very secure. The engine is a piece of crap, though. Like, imagine working on a game. I mean, that's something people would say. Oh, engine's crap, man. He's fake? How do you know he's fake, Mo? Is there something that's come out about him? Bethesda norm, it's their staple. Like, no jumping in UB staple. Starfield's creation engine will not let you climb. You don't need to climb. Paul says he is not fake. Definitely seems within the realm of possibility for Bethesda. When someone says everything I'm talking about will be clear when the beta comes out, I'm like, I don't know. Hang on. Schreier is confirming the guy's identity. I can confirm that Heavy was legit. Can't necessarily back up everything they said, but they were definitely who they said they were. Hope the lawyers aren't going after them. So Schreier is confirming that is somebody who worked on the game. But that doesn't mean that it's true. That they could be blowing smoke. No, I'm not playing Overwatch 2. Something to note is that Heavy really lightened up their original tone after their first message about Starfield. They said that they personally were not a fan of Bethesda games, but that Starfield had an overabundance of content, enough content that they probably have to cut some to hit the November launch date, and if you like Bethesda games, you will probably love Starfield. The shooting was okay to them, but that it was subjective, probably similar to Fallout 4. Flight mechanics were also subjective, and they just weren't a big fan of it, but others might love it. When they were talking about the engine being crap, they meant from a usability standpoint as a developer, not its capability. They gave the example of Unreal 4 and Unity being super user-friendly compared to CryEngine, but CryEngine was really powerful. Okay, this sounds extremely trustworthy. They literally qualified it and said, oh, wait, I'm not saying the engine's crap. I'm saying from a usability standpoint, like Unreal 4 and Unity is super user-friendly, CryEngine is not, although it's really powerful. Did they break NDA? I mean, I'm sure they did because they worked at the company and then no longer worked. You probably sign stuff when you leave. You probably sign stuff when you get hired saying you won't do that. The leaker said nothing to prove himself. Anyone could have written that article. He couldn't even provide a name of a character. I don't know. When Schreier says that the person worked at the company, I take that to the bank. I'm not even a huge fan of Schreier, but I would hazard a guess. That if he's saying that this person's real, and if the person's not real, why would they go on to qualify what they're saying? Like, here, I'm going to come out here with this Starfield leak. And then when I get pressure from people, I go back and I'm like, well, what I meant is that the engine's crap. Like, it's really hard to work with. Like I said, that sounded like something a developer would say. Like, oh, man, the engine's crap, bro. Wait, a strictly next-gen console game on Unreal 4? No, it's not on Unreal 4. It's on the CryEngine. It definitely sounds like a dev, but also possibly some sort of analyst and not an actual coder. The lingo used is throwing me off a bit, says We the People. When you work on the engine, you do one of 1,000 jobs. You could just have an environment artist here, but this 100% sounds like Bethesda speak. Yeah, Jason would have asked the guy for proof that he worked before commenting. Yeah. He said flying isn't fun, and he went on to say that some people might like it, they just found it to be that they didn't enjoy it. I mean, I'll say that about Horizon Forbidden West. I thought the flying was kind of It wasn't that amazing. Some other people might think it's phenomenal. Flying in Horizon Forbidden West was cinematically driven. It wasn't that great. It was cool, but you know what I'm saying? It's totally subjective to the player. So how would he know? Listen, Jason Schreier, he's blacklisted from Bethesda. So that means he can't talk to this guy and verify that he worked there. If there is somebody who can vet a leaker and a source, it's Schreier. Have you read any of his stuff? Have you read any of the work that he's done? Whether it was how he covered the downfall of Anthem or any of these other stories coming out from these companies. If there's somebody in the industry that can vet somebody and be like, yeah, no, this guy actually worked at Bethesda, it's Schreier. I don't even like him. And I guarantee you he has ways of vetting employment. Or like, all right, man, you got to prove to me. How do I know you worked there? It ain't. It's on the creation engine. Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying CryEngine. That's what the image said that I was reading. What, isn't the creation engine a version of that engine? Creation engine, created by Bethesda based on the Gamebryo engine. The creation engine has used to be creating games like Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, Fallout 4, and Fallout 76. Yeah, why is that screenshot saying CryEngine then, Barrier? Are they just mistaken? If Schreier is blacklisted from Bethesda, you think everyone that works at Bethesda cares about the blacklist? Yeah, especially somebody who's willing to leak information about the game. You think this guy is going to be like, well, you know, I've got no problem leaking information about the game, but I'm not going to talk to Schreier. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, from a standpoint of just logic, it makes sense that he would talk to Schreier. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about Starfield news as well as a Starfield leak. Somebody saying that the engine is bad, but what they're saying is it's not easy to work with. They actually think the game is quite good. I mean, they literally said Starfield's looking good, weekly playtests, and that flying is terrible at the moment, in my opinion, just not fun to me. They're basically saying, I don't think it's very fun. Oh, they're making an example. They're saying it's like how Unreal 4 is easy where the CryEngine isn't. Oh, I misunderstood the statement. Okay, they're not saying that Starfield is in the CryEngine. They're giving an example. They're like, Unreal 4 is really easy, CryEngine is not, okay? In that realm, that's what the creation engine feels like. It's not easy to work with. You're talking to people who think Schreier was wrong too for confirming God of War was releasing this year. That's true. Maybe that's why some of you guys don't like him. Maybe that's why some of you guys don't like him. You don't like him because he confirmed that it's coming out. If you're just tuning in, we want to know what you think about Starfield. Is it going to be live service? It's not going to be a multiplayer game, but apparently this beta test that's happening, there are some theories floating around that is to test networking to see if you cannot actually get online and play with other people. I think I'm arguing that Starfield is the new flagship of Microsoft. I've argued this from a variety of ways. It is basically their first next-gen only title. It is central and integral to getting people on Game Pass. They're trying to make this the mover of the next console series, and that is something that you do with a flagship title. Update. This was just posted on Reset Era by General Manager B-Dubs. Yes, he did work for Bethesda for a long time, actually. You actually need to provide positive proof of such things to get a verified tag on Era. So yeah, he worked for Bethesda. So that's a moderator or an admin of Reset Era weighing in on the subject and saying, yes, this guy worked there. 100%. So there you go. I mean, they're like, listen, man, we make people provide proof, bro. Like, so, you know, I don't think it's in doubt. And again, it didn't sound like he was trying to besmirch the game. Like, this Starfield leak is so light. it's not like it's harming the game at all. If anything, he's making it sound pretty good. Like, listen, when he says they have an overabundance of content, probably too much, that they're going to have to cut stuff before launch, that's actually not a bad thing. I mean, it might be a bad thing for the launch. 6 months from SDMF with a gaming tier 2 membership. Welcome back. If we get like 40-something new members before the end of the month, my wife has to play Elden Ring. You guys have got to push that number, man. We got to make my wife play Elden Ring. Just on fire like any product Bethesda touches, says Sichuan. Fallout 76, Fallout Helmet, Rage, Youngbloods. There is, at this moment, a lot of people. Where do you land on this, chat? Chime in. Let us know what you think, okay? You didn't mean to send roses? Well, thank you for sending the roses, M. Baker, on TikTok. TikTok, feel free to weigh in on this as well. What do you think, okay? There's a shake in confidence in Bethesda because of Fallout 76, Wolfenstein Youngbloods, and Rage 2. That they have now a pattern of half-baked, not great games, and that has a lot of consumer confidence sort of shaken about Starfield. What do you think? Let us know what you think in the chat. Weigh in on this. Feel free to vote on the poll. Do you think the game will be an ongoing live service game? Not necessarily online multiplayer or always online, but a live service game, a game they're servicing, a game they're always updating, a game they're continually adding to. What do you think? Oh my, will Madam start a new game, or will she play your character? Oh, she'll start a new game. We're going to make... Well, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we just make her play a dungeon. Like, if she gets successfully through, like, one dungeon, then that'll be something. We live in an age of social media where negativity means people click more often. This leak will be spun negatively, which will affect the game, I bet. I don't know about that. He came back and qualified his statements. He came back and qualified his statements and said, I'm not saying that the engine's bad as in the game is bad. He's saying the engine's hard to work with. She deserves the tutorial. Yeah, you're right. Maybe we should let her play the beginning, do the tutorial, and then walk her over to the dungeon. You know what I mean? Like, we can't really level her. I'm trying to think of, could we level her and get her a decent kit so she could go into, like, one of the earlier dungeons? Because that would take up the entire stream, I imagine. Consumer confidence is high that Starfield is going to be great. What? Where is the consumer confidence high, Mo? Every time I look at this game, I see people asking questions. I see people that are worried. I see people that point to their previous games. You know what I mean? Are there elements to Bethesda that give you pause at all, Mo? I mean, have you ever been a big Bethesda fan, or is this purely because you're a Microsoft fan? Like, what's driving your confidence? Like, were you a big Fallout 76 fan? What about Rage 2? What about Wolfenstein Youngbloods? Like, were you a big fan of those games? Did you think those games were good? Were you a big Fallout 4 guy? Bethesda has been on shaky ground since Fallout 4. Most Bethesda people know what to expect. You can go in and play till you have unbearable bug, and then you come back a month later. But Fallout 76 was unusually quick for release, pretty much Fallout 4 assets to make another game quick. I'm a Bethesda apologist, but everything I say is true to its core. New Vegas was not Bethesda, says Wheezy. That's why New Vegas was so good, because Bethesda didn't touch it. You loved Oblivion. It's been a long time since Oblivion, though, right? Why not co-op with the wife? That would just be too complicated. That's not what we're trying to do. I guess if you don't like single-player RPGs, then yeah. It could be I'm saying it could be a single-player RPG. The question of live service, from where I sit, the question is this an ongoing game? Are they going to continue to add to Starfield? I think they're going to, because I see this as being the new Microsoft flagship. I don't think they're going to just launch the game and be like, well, we have a couple of DLCs planned. No, I think Starfield's an ongoing live service game. I think that this guy's leak, where he says they have an overabundance of content, arguably they have too much content. The Starfield leak essentially indicates that they're going to have to cut things at launch. The Starfield release date of November 11th is right around the corner within the development world. That's right around the corner. And he's like, yeah, they arguably have too much content, man. They're going to have to cut things before launch. They're going back to that way again, says Mo. Give her the pure experience. No excuses or qualifications. The same thing every new player experiences, says Zubair. Fallout 76 was created to fund Starfield and Elder Scrolls before they knew Microsoft was going to step in. Prove me wrong. So Jake thinks that 76 was basically, they wanted to set up a cash revenue flow to fund Starfield and Elder Scrolls. I want a Bethesda to do 4-player co-op game. Lono, how could Starfield be the flagship? If you create your own character, what would the face be? You don't need a face for a game to be a flagship. You don't need that. Like when Call of Duty was the flagship, they weren't putting a person's face out there. It was just this big brand. A big, recognizable brand. Right? I don't think you need a lead character for a game to be a flagship. I don't agree with that. I think it certainly helps to throw up Kratos' face or Aloy's face. Sure. Yes. But I don't think that's a necessity for a flagship title. Ghost, but no. When Call of Duty was the flagship, they weren't centering it around a character. They were centering it around the brand. Captain Price was not a center stage character that they were throwing up as a flagship. Call of Duty was the flagship. Flagship of what? Of the Microsoft platform. Look at how they're marketing Starfield. Look at the way they're trickling out the info. Look at the way that they're doing an Xbox Bethesda reveal about this game specifically on June 12th. That screams that this is our new flagship title. It is the first next-gen only title. So that they're trying to move the new series with it. Anytime a console is attempting to move their new console with the series, that's a flagship title. Imagine that don't imagine. Spider-Man 2 is a flagship title of Sony. Why? Because they're going to make it next-gen only. So I think Starfield is taking center stage. Next-gen only. This game is huge. June 12th isn't just Starfield. It's the primary. Big stretch. It's the meal, bro. It's the main course of that stream. Come on. Don't pretend that it's not. Call of Duty wasn't the flagship of Xbox. Oh, it certainly was. It was not the flagship. It was a flagship. You can't sit here and tell me that there's multiple flagships and then say Call of Duty was never a flagship. It was not the flagship. It was one of them, though. They paid for all that exclusivity. Starfield's not casual enough. Call of Duty will be the flagship. I think Starfield's center stage, man. I think Starfield is center stage for Microsoft going forward. You don't need a main face if your name is popular. Case in point, Pokemon, which has over 900 different Pokemon, but is literally the most recognizable media brand and the most profitable in human history. Yeah, and they use Pikachu a lot, but a lot of the games don't do that. A lot of the games just say, here's Pokemon. And they use a different character as the center stage, branding and logo push. Last of Us 2 was a flagship title, didn't end well. If I didn't already have an Xbox, I would probably end up buying one for Starfield, says Lifeflows. That's what they want. That's exactly what they want. Like, if you're just tuning in, we're covering Starfield news as well as a Starfield leak. And I am arguing everything I'm looking at tells me this is the new center stage flagship. There will be multiple flagships of the Microsoft ecosystem and the Microsoft platform, but this is, I'm telling you, Starfield is it. They're backing this game huge. They did not buy Bethesda for what they did, and they're not pushing a game to be next gen only, and they're not throwing that massive purchase on Game Pass so that they can turn around and be like, it's just another title. No, I'm telling you, this is center stage marketing. This is center stage Game Pass. They're going to constantly have this brand in your face. Before somebody says that Pokemon has made more, says something. Pokemon has made more money than whatever your favorite brand is, and probably 2 times as much. I'm confused as to why people trust Bethesda with this new IP, says Sichuan. I would love an explanation. Well, right. I mean, I said, okay, well, this is what Mo said, Sichuan. I'm going to try and represent Mo's position as best I can. I don't think it's particularly convincing, but this was his position. He said that for him, okay, he said that for him, he loved Oblivion. And from everything they've communicated, he feels like they're getting back to their roots. He feels that Bethesda's getting back to their roots. They're getting back to that Oblivion-style RPG, and they have said things like this. So essentially his argument is they're getting back to their core competencies. They're getting back to what made them great. I agree with those who are lacking in consumer confidence right now. 100% agree with people that are like, I just don't know, man. I just don't know. They've swung and missed on so many titles recently. There's plenty of reason to doubt. There's plenty of reason to doubt the quality of Starfield. The concern that this is going to be too ambitious, you know. Like, what do you hear when you hear this? What game can you think of when you hear this? The engine's bad, and not bad as in the game is bad, but the engine's hard to work with, okay? Got a former employee, a verified former employee of Bethesda, saying the creation engine's hard to work with. And not only is he saying that, he or she is saying also that they're going to have to cut content at launch. What game does that remind you of? Because it sounds really similar to another game that had an engine that's tough to work with and had to cut content at launch just to get the thing out the door. It sounds extremely similar to another space RPG that launched. It sounds like Anthem. It also sounds a little bit like Destiny, but it sounds like Anthem. Anthem said that engine's got razor blades, right? Got razor blades in it, man. They launched and they had all this content they had to cut and remove that they tried to shove in later. It sounds like it doesn't sound like Elden Ring. It sounds like Anthem. I'm telling you, it's like, well, wait a minute. The engine's so hard to work with. How's game development coming? Wheezy says Halo Infinite. I've theorized that the Halo Infinite engine's hard to work with, Wheezy, based on the slow changes and the problems that they've had. I've theorized that they have a pretty bad engine. Not a bad engine in how it runs, but a bad engine in how they have to interact with it. 100%, yes. Haven't been able to catch the stream in a while because of work, but happy to be here today. Great to see you killing it, dude. Thank you, Ross. I appreciate that. Rogue says, I just need to see more before I can agree with you. I haven't seen enough, and Bethesda has proven themselves to be untrustworthy. I just don't think it being the first next-gen only title is enough. Listen, Rogue, I think my own argumentation is making me think this game's got to be good. Right? This game's got to be good. Microsoft has had the concept has been proven to them. Listen. This game's going to be awesome. Let's show it to you. And Microsoft's like, oh, okay, we're convinced. You're becoming a center stage flagship for us. We see you as being a title to drive next-gen console sales. We see you as a title to drive Game Pass subscriptions. We see you as being a center stage flagship of the Microsoft brand. That's not that convincing, but if I was trying to convince somebody, if I was doing my best to convince you that this game's going to be great, that would be the angle that I would take. It has nothing to do with Bethesda. It has everything to do with Microsoft seemingly seeing something that gives them a large amount of confidence in buying Bethesda and putting them center stage of so much of what Microsoft does. So much. Look at the amount of different versions of Skyrim. 2011 it launched. 2013 Skyrim Legendary Edition, 16 Special Edition, 2017 Skyrim VR, then VR again in 18, and then the Anniversary Edition in 2021. 10 years of, hey, you're awake. A decade of, hey, you're awake. That indie might be dope. I like machine games. I've never been too big on those type of games. The leaker has left, probably wasn't used to the engine. If it's was Bethesda, oh, you retracted your comment. I was like, what are you saying? Todd Howard has been known to lie constantly. I don't believe anything he says anymore, says Just Barker. Fallout 4 and Skyrim both saved by mods. 76 excluded mods for a cash grab, says Cat Slave. Thoughts on Musk buying Twitter? We covered that on Reforge Radio. That's not what this channel is for. I have another channel that we cover like political, cultural, and situations like that. It's called Reforge Radio. This is Reforge Gaming, and I do not cover stuff like that. However, we do have a members-only stream today that's a perfect place for you to ask questions that might be a little bit too spicy for our normal gaming show. And the Purple platform has some rumors coming about what they're going to do with ad placement and as well as payout. So if you guys want my thoughts on that, you better up your membership or be a member and be here for that. We'll be doing that after this stream. The radio command should pull up Reforge Radio, youtube.com/Reforge Radio, and it's one of the most recent episodes over there. It better come out of the game swinging, that's all I'm saying, says Rogue Necro. No, I don't disagree with you. Like, this is what I think the June 12th thing needs to show significant Starfield gameplay. They need to show a lot. I need to know, what is the content loop? What am I doing? What does combat look like? What does flying look like? What's the RPG elements look like? Todd not lying? Bruh, 16 times the detail, all new lighting, etc. The whole presentation for 76 was a lie. Disregard, I retract. I'm not sure what you were saying. I was wondering if you were going to cover Purple. I don't want to cover the Purple platform on radio, and I certainly don't want to cover it here. But if you guys want the spice about that game, about that platform, or I don't know, the other game, those members-only streams are a perfect time for that. You gotta pay to see that content. I'm not putting that out into the public eye. I'm not putting that out into the public eye, man. Is that your Discord or am I high? What are you talking about? There's a difference between lying and not delivering. Yeah, I want to know exactly when he made those claims about Fallout 76. Was literally none of that true at all? Like, absolutely none? I think it'll be Outer Worlds, but less cartoony. We will see the leather jacket, says Big Mad Mo. I'll never get to see that content, says Wheezy. Feels bad, man. What do you mean? What content? You're a member. I'm discounting basically everything from the leaked. So, okay. So they've verified that the Starfield leak came from an actual Bethesda. I went to the dentist, must be hearing stuff. No, you probably heard my wife vacuuming, but only in Discord. It shouldn't be picking it up on the stream. She's running a vacuum in the other room. Man, that should not be coming in on the microphone. It probably sounded like a drill at the dentist. You have it on the other channel? What do you mean? No, every Thursday we do a members-only stream here on gaming. If you want to ask me about gaming topics that are a little too spicy for the main show. So if you want to ask me about the Purple platform or anything going on with like the Destiny community, bleh, I don't want to cover that on radio and I don't want to cover it on gaming. Every Thursday we do a members-only stream here. So at first he wasn't real. Now that he's real, it's just completely discounted. That's what I mean. So the Starfield leak came from an actual employee, verified by Reset Era, verified by Jason Schreier. But what he said is just not true. I just want to stream with cursing. No crap, because last week I saw it was only on the other channel. No, there's Wheezy, there's literally a VOD from last week on this channel from Thursday. It's there. It's not your fault, Wheeze. They do a really bad job of notifying members when we do members-only content. We have to do a members-only post. And if you don't see that post or hear that post or pay attention to that post, you have no idea that I went live for members-only. It's honestly, I don't know. It's honestly kind of dumb. Yo, Obey the Nut, he wants to hear what I have to say. Brand new member and a great name. Enjoy the dope badge and emotes. You're dope and deserve dope stuff. Enjoy the new content. We need 39 more new members. If you want my wife to play Elden Ring, we need 39 more new members on this channel before the month is up. Could be negative publicity, says Broader 2, or it could be real. That is indeed a heck of a name. I might be tripping, then my bad. I don't think you're tripping, Wheeze. We have noticed that a lot of people don't realize when we do members-only content. Like, we have 450 some odd members here, and maybe 100 people watch the members-only content. Like, I just don't think it does a good job of notifying people. I would imagine out of 450, closer to 300 would watch the content if they knew about it. I just don't think it notifies them. Are you going to twerk for us during the members-only stream? No. Bethesda's going to Beth. Don't count them out. The people that their games work for love it. Some of us still play Fallout 4. If they could improve their day one offering and widen their appeal, fire. And that could be what they're doing with Starfield. They could see Starfield, again, as being that, as being the game that really finally delivers broad appeal and high quality. It's been said for years already how bad the Bethesda engine is. Right, that's not news that the creation engine isn't any good. Is that new news? I think a large portion of that audience thinks that I'm the Mo of radio. I don't think so. I've just decided that I want to be the Mo of Reforge Radio. I think I'm off to a good start. And Eugene wants to take that crown. No, I don't think so. Oh man, I want to be Zubair. Says, I think you are. You kind of agree with Lono a lot, right? Hey, slow down there, Zubair. Slow down. Wait. What are you doing? I don't think Seamus and I agree that much. You better slow down. You better slow down, Zubair. Eugene and Zubair split duties as the Mo of radio. That's a fact. Echo Chamber. This is the first game that will be using the Creation Engine 2, so it will be amazing, but it does not mean it was designed easily to be used by devs. Right, I think both things can be true, Butters. So, the Starfield engine being the Creation Engine 2, yes, it can be great and an amazing game, but no, it's not. That doesn't mean it's easy for the devs to work. Yes, Lono and I agree on everything. When I speak, just assume Lono and I are on the same page. No, that is so... That's not funny. No, absolutely not. I don't think I've ever said my people in my life. I don't think I've ever uttered this statement. We're getting off track. Starfield news and a Starfield leak. Come on, chat. Keep on the ball here. We can keep it on the ball. You say it's not funny, but I'm laughing. Need more wild cards. You never know which way I'm going to lean unless it's religion. Shut up, Wheezy. 100% accurate, says Butters. More than likely, we will get Bethesda, but better graphics and lighting, and the meshes and assists will be 100 times better. I'm glad they're on the same page. I was getting worried. This is not fun. This isn't funny. This is not funny. Starfield is going to break the internet, said Mo. Here comes Mo with that Microsoft positivity, baby. Starfield release date is going to break the internet. Find out, he says it in private often. No, I don't. Find out if Lono says my people in the members only streams. stop. You're derailing. You're derailing. We were in the low 300s. You're driving people away. I want to hear from you if you are interested in Starfield. If you're interested in Starfield news and leaks, smash the like button. Hit that subscribe button so you can chime in the chat. We want to hear from you other than my belligerent, ornery children in the chat right now. They're not doing what they're told. They're being very disobedient. And we need to get back on the topic at hand. Do you think that Starfield will be a live service game? Yes or no? Is it ongoing? I'm arguing that it is the... I am arguing that Starfield is the center flagship is the new flagship title of Microsoft. I hate all of you so much. Papa, I want an ice cream. Probably addressed at some point. Is Microsoft going to keep Bethesda games off PlayStation? Yes. Yes. They have said that existing contracts will be honored, right? They have said that. Existing contracts will be honored and that this will be a Xbox title. It's been referred to as an Xbox title. Yeah, I know. I see what you're writing, Wheezy, and I'm not reading it. When you reference... Stop! I'm trying to read chat, and you're all messing this up. I'm just glad it's on Game Pass, so people don't need a refund, says Sichuan. Think about that for a second. In the realm of Microsoft's confidence in this game, I argued a little bit ago that Microsoft's confidence in the game can be seen in the fact that they are putting it next gen only. They are putting it on center of Game Pass, right? Right? And Game Pass, look at it from another angle here, okay? Starfield being on Xbox Game Pass means that if it is terrible, that is hurting Microsoft in like 4 different ways. Big O renewing his membership for 7 months. I believe Starfield is going to set the stage for Xbox exclusive titles. Right, exactly. So, think of it from that perspective. Think of it from that perspective for a second. Microsoft buys Bethesda. Microsoft wants Starfield to be an exclusive, which means it's now associated with the Xbox brand. Microsoft wants it on Game Pass day one. All of that screams Microsoft's confidence in the game. They've had to been convinced at some level that this game is going to be really good. I'm not turning into an Xbox fanboy, and I'm not going to sit here and try and tell you that this game's going to be amazing. But I'm here to tell you, that this game must have done something at some level to prove to Microsoft to do all these things with it. Because if this game is bad, Microsoft not only wasted money, but they hurt their own brand in the process. It'll be a bad Xbox exclusive. It'll be a bad game on Game Pass, meaning they don't recoup much of the cost on this because people don't even have to buy the dadgum thing. Just have a PC and a PS5 and you can play every game, even Nintendo games, if you know how. Hey. No, we don't support that here. I don't support that. I don't support stealing Nintendo games through emulation. I think it will be Fallout Elder Scrolls in space. They need to prove they can do something different. Yeah, I agree. My PlayStation brothers, there's a scourge upon us. The Game Pass threatens our people. We must end now. Send them back to the stars from which they came. These are our fields. Arise, my people. Yeah, we don't do that here. Now I'm stuck thinking of Lono as preaching now. Reckless says, I only buy flagships. I drive my flagship car to the flagship store to buy my flagship games on my flagship consoles. What, am I saying it too much? Did you hear about the Starfield developer that left the project and said the engine is bad? Gritter, we looked at that Starfield leak today. He clarified his statements and said that he wasn't speaking about the engine being bad with respect to the game's quality, but that it's hard to work with. It's not easy to work with. So it's not about the game necessarily being bad with respect to the engine. It is quite literally, as a developer, he's like, this is terrible. You know what I mean? This is bad. That's what he meant by saying that it was bad. So people need to understand that when he says that, he is speaking specifically as a developer. It has been confirmed. That the guy that spoke is an employee of Bethesda. It's been confirmed both by Reset Era. They make people prove that before they give them the tag. And Jason Schreier also confirmed it. Jason Schreier also confirmed that that this guy that said all this was an employee. Software is hard, and a lot of things don't show up in testing either, and games ship with an acceptable amount of bugs, says Wheezy. It's not easy to work with. Title of Lono says, at least I didn't get my new Series X for nothing, says Gritter. That's right. If you guys are enjoying today's show about Starfield news as well as Starfield leaks, make sure and smash that like button. We need some likes. Let's hit that 200 like threshold. We've been holding a pretty good size audience with this topic, and it's been a good discussion. Make sure and vote on the poll. Starfield, will it be a live service game? Let us know what you think. I think it will be a live service game, not necessarily an online ongoing game, but it will be a game that is showing up at the right time for the gun show. What's good, Denver Miller? Oh, was I stretching? If you guys on TikTok ever feel like I'm not acknowledging you, it's just because the chat over there is a lot less active, so I stopped looking down there after a while. It's not on purpose. I appreciate you watching over there. We've had anywhere from 10 to almost 20-something viewers over there today. That's not bad at all for just starting this week. I want Bethesda to fix and begin supporting Elder Scrolls Legends again. Oh, I don't think that's going anywhere. That whole thing was shuttered, wasn't it? It doesn't matter how many resources you throw at it. Game development is just hard, period, because software is a fickle mistress, says Wheezy. Aren't there 40 of you guys in there that haven't hit the like button, says Chest Pain? Smash it. Yeah, that's right, man. Smash it. Yeah, I was stretching. Starfield 7 is a 765 live service. I will throw it in the trash and move on. Oh, 76 live service. Oh, we got Sven. We got Sven doing the thing now. Hang on. Do you think Starfield will have a magic or mystical element to its story and they just haven't shown it, or do you expect it to be more straight up space exploration? Yeah, I don't know, because if it's a space RPG, Sven, you're going to have more than just like technology and weapons. I would think there'd have to be some element of maybe not magic, but maybe we discover technology that sort of emulates it. Do we get a leg on that members only stream? No, I'm not gonna let you see my leg, Yogurt Thief. Does anyone know if I have to go to an internal setting on the Series X to enable HDR? You do. You got to go into the settings grader to turn it on. I'm fairly certain it's not on by default. It was a fun game, but pay to win killed it, in my opinion. They changed the meta like once a month. You can still play Legends, but no updates in years. The little boy is a drone I think you control, so I guess maybe it has places you can't access in your suit. The little boy, you mean the little bot? Mech bot. I was like, little boy? I was like, what? Play Starfield and travel the stars, and you're joined by a little boy, and he'll climb into those, underground compartments that have treasure and money. Make him do $5 from Clap for You. I really want to see Madam play Elden Ring. Let's see some new members, says Clap for You. You guys got it. You guys got to start to jump on it, man. I don't like to add a lot of member incentives, but we kind of have had to. It's the way of the road, man. It's the way of YouTube, and we are sitting at 459 members. Actually, if I hit this, we are at 458, actually. Yeah, 458. We need 40-something more. 40-something more. You got to move it, man. You got to move the needle. Magic, says Cat Slave, pulls out a laser and mortars enemies from a starship. That's right. Hugo got what he deserved. He really did. Stop. Y'all keep asking for things on those member streams that will make me cancel my membership. Less skin, please. It basically just sounds like everybody wants me to start an OnlyFans, which is not going to happen. I'm not doing that. It would be embarrassing. We would get like no subscribers. Nick Dragula says, what are we talking about today over on TikTok? We are talking about Starfield news, as well as there was a Starfield leak about the basically the engine and the flying, and the person is a verified employee, former employee of Bethesda, and they said that the engine's bad from a developer standpoint. Not that the game is bad, but the engine is hard to work with. They have an overabundance of content, probably too much, to the point that they're probably gonna have to cut content to launch the game. Flying, they didn't find flying fun, but they admitted that was pretty much subjective to them and their experience. So yeah. Will you be covering your body with chocolate pudding during the members only stream today? No, I will not. I will not be doing that. No. That implies that you would if you would do well. Yeah. What are you talking about? If I could go over there and be an overnight millionaire like some of these ladies have on OnlyFans, you don't think I would do that? I'd retire after like a month. I'm like, well, that was worth it. All right, let's get back to whatever we were doing. Be called Lonely Fans. That's right. Lonely Fans. Yondu kept Peter Quill around because he was little and could fit into tight spaces. Yeah. There you go. That's the premise of the game. Is you're actually playing as Yondu. Writing my name on your forehead if I donate $1. No, I'm not doing that. No. I like your shirt. Thank you. If you like my shirt, always remember my shirts always come from 80stees.com. You can use code Lono and get 30% off over there. This is from their TV collection. Don't forget to use my code when you go over there. They sometimes have like an email pop up that'll get you a discount. Don't use that. Use my code. And that way I won't get credit. I won't get credit if you guys don't use my code. Because you, like I said, they do this thing that like pops up on the screen. I think people were doing that almost all last year because I was sending you to just the generic website instead of to like the specific collections, and yeah, it caused some problems. If there's anything I've learned about game devs giving their opinion about a type of gameplay online, is that they usually have crap taste. So I'll try and determine the flying thing for myself. Are you feeling the Stranger Things 4 trailer? I didn't, to be honest. I haven't seen the trailer, Seamus, but I had a feeling in my gut that this was probably going to be the last and worst season. I feel like this is my gut. I've not seen a trailer, but I think they're going to jump the shark. I think it's over. That's just my gut instinct, is that they're done. It also isn't going to work. Millie's getting too expensive. She's getting too old. Like, I think it worked when they were kids. It doesn't work when they're going to be, like, college students, because then there'll be all the stupid romance angles, and Millie's going to be way too expensive because she's just becoming too popular and too in demand. Yeah. Didn't they confirm Season 5? They said this is the last? I didn't know that. My husband saw me rapidly tapping my phone screen to send likes and asked me if my phone was broken. This is Quiet Shy. Can't be much worse than Season 3. Season 3 was fine, but I don't know. The show is a very different vibe based on the trailer. It feels more like a big budget action movie than the cool 80s D&D vibe. Yeah, I didn't even see the trailer, and I'm telling you, my gut instinct was they were going to jump the shark. I was like, they're going to jump the shark. They're going to just completely overdo it. Just saw her on an old episode of Hell's Kitchen. She was like 7 years old. Yeah, she's been great ever since she started. She's fantastic. I thought she was great in the Enola Holmes thing. Off topic. I mean, we're having the same experience with this as we did with the other. both topics are showing us similar things. It's unfortunate. Looks like shark jumping. It looks to lean too heavily on the supernatural stuff. I don't know why they waited so long. Probably production or contract issues. You think Riddler's better than Joker? Your opinion's no longer valid. A Yondu game would be fire. Slow-mo whistling arrow. Come on. It would be a pretty good game. For sure. For sure. Yeah, Fuzzy. She even talked about that. Yeah. She's not posting stuff on Instagram as much anymore because of that. So much for Starfield breaking the internet. If you guys want to talk Starfield news, Starfield Leak, let me know what you think. I've actually argued that it's the new Xbox flagship. I said it has to do with Halo not hitting the mark. They're making it next-gen only. It's integral to the Game Pass. They spent a ton of money on this. Microsoft's putting a lot on the line to make this thing very integral to the Microsoft brand. So they see this as a flagship title. Now, that also made me say that could be used as argumentation in the game's quality, that the game must be pretty good because they've definitely got Microsoft convinced that the game can be excellent, that the game can do something very, very special. Well, we're getting better search treatment on it. We are. We're actually getting clicks from people that are just searching for Starfield, so that's actually encouraging. But again, I think it's a volume thing. I'm telling you, until we see gameplay, I think people have just kind of they've just kind of checked out. You know what I mean? Let me go to the Starfield channel. Hang on. Because they've been releasing videos fairly regularly, and I want to see what did their latest video do. They've been doing those Starfield things. So 2 days ago, they released a 6-minute thing called The Sound of Adventure, and it pulled 71,000 views. And they did another video a little while ago, 3 weeks ago, about Meet Vasco the Robot. It pulled 120,000 views. Now, a month ago, when they said Into the Starfield made for Wanderers, it's sitting at 343,000, okay? So I think the concern would be that folks are losing interest. You're seeing a drop in interest in these videos, and it's primarily related to the fact that I think it's time for gameplay. You know? It's time for gameplay. Like you're not going to get surge of interest with a minute-long thing about a robot. You know, that's got quite literally less than half of what the Made for Wanderers video got. Why? Because Made for Wanderers, this is going to be about the game. This is going to be about, I'm going to get to see stuff, right? And they've got concept art. And then Meet Vasco pulls less than half that viewership. And now the Sound of Adventure, they're talking about sound design. That's not going to come anywhere close to the 343,000. I'm telling you, it's time for gameplay. 4 months ago, The Endless Pursuit is sitting at 614,000 views. So they dropped from 614,000 views to 343. So episode 2 pulled half the viewership of episode 1. Do you see what's happening? You're getting depreciating returns. They got episode 2 got half of 3. I'm sorry, episode 2 got half of 1. Episode 3's got half of that. It's just down, 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 down. Now, that is not because people think the game is crap or that it's DOA like Robert's saying. No, it's because people are like, okay, we've heard enough. Show us gameplay. That's where we are right now with interest in Starfield news. That's what people want. They want Starfield gameplay right now. 6 months is close enough that we should be getting gameplay. Oh, for sure. It's just, I'm not faulting them, by the way. I'm not faulting them. I'm saying I think that's why you're seeing a drop in interest, because people have gotten to the point where they're like, we get it. We get it. You're making a space RPG. Cool. Okay, we get it. Show us gameplay. That doesn't mean that they should do that. It means the public is the public has hit that point. They're like, okay, fine. We great. Skyrim in space, bro. Dope. Show me gameplay, my man. I want to see something. You keep pushing gameplay, I stop caring. You keep pushing gameplay? Oh, you're saying you keep pushing it, like keep shoving it back, Wheezy, is what you mean. I also think that people might have to learn to control their hype because of Cyberpunk. I have the same for life, Hex. What's Hex saying? I wish I had the optimism for life that Mo had. No one is hyped except Mo. I'm certainly not hyped. Show me gameplay. I can get an inkling of hype, Wheezy, when I start talking about how much Microsoft seems to believe in this. I can start to feel hype rising a little bit when I look at the tea leaves and I say, Microsoft has a very, very strong amount of confidence in this. And after what happened with Halo, I feel like they would be more hands-on and want to see proof of concept. Listen, if we're going to buy Bethesda, if we're going to put this game on Xbox only, if we're going to make this thing be next-gen only, if we're going to make this thing central to Game Pass, you better show us something good. Tell me something good. Like, they're wanting to see far more than just like a trailer or concept art. That's the only way I can channel hype. Like, if I'm trying to channel hype, like, how could I get hyped about this game? How could I think that this game is going to be amazing? That's the avenue I have to take. Microsoft clearly sees something in this game. Clearly. Xbox exclusive. Yeah, it's an Xbox exclusive. I don't care how much they believe in it, says Wheezy. They believed in Halo Infinite 2 years ago and showed us that. No, they didn't believe in Halo. They delayed Halo. Or maybe they didn't delay Halo. 343 delayed Halo. I don't know how much they believed in Halo. How central has Halo been to Microsoft's messaging and branding since all that happened? I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if you can say they believed in Halo the way that they're showing confidence in Starfield. Right? They didn't buy 343 and then be like, oh, hey, Halo's now Microsoft only. They bought Bethesda for a chunk, and they're like, your title is over here now. I don't know. They were awfully quiet considering it's blanking Halo. They believe in 343. They have flawed thinking. They were 100% ready to release an even larger pile of crap, says Eugene. 2030 release date. If you're just tuning in for Starfield news, as well as the Starfield leak, we've been covering it, discussing it, chopping it up. I think that there's something in Starfield that Microsoft sees and senses, and I think they are making this a flagship of the Microsoft franchise platform. The difference is Microsoft hasn't had a hand in the development like they did with Halo. They didn't have a hand in the development of Halo. That's not true. Bethesda still operates on its own and does its thing. I've not seen any evidence to indicate that Microsoft had anything to do with Halo Infinite. All signs point to 343 absolutely bumbling the project. They were in a crisis in 2019. They bring in Joseph Staten to basically save the dadgum day and release the game minimum viable product a year later, or a year and a half later. I don't buy that for a minute. The Elden Ring hype was justified? How so? From Software 100% has a better track record than Bethesda for the past 12 years. Bethesda has Skyrim. That was good. And then From Software literally has a handful of hits the past 12 years. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think the hype and excitement for Elden Ring was more warranted because of the track record. And they let people play a junk ton of the game. They let people play a junk ton of the game. They were super confident in Elden Ring. Super confident. Off topic is the topic. That's right. How are we going to grieve Halo when Hilly isn't here to defend it? Microsoft had something to do with the contractor turnover, not letting them hire. Maybe that's a factor, Eugene, but I've not seen any evidence that Microsoft had a hand in Halo Infinite's development, like interfered or messed with stuff or made bad decisions or whatever the frick. launching, says Paul. Aaron Greenberg says Starfield will be... Hang on, when was this made? August 30th. Starfield will be launching exclusively on Xbox Series X, S, and PC on November the 11th, 2022. Game Pass members can play it day one on Xbox and PC. I know we have said this all before, and none of that has or will change. That was August 30th of last year. I think that keeps the door open. We'll be launching exclusively. Wait. You, Paul, you think that the word launching in this tweet means it could eventually go to other platforms? I don't think so. No. It's launching exclusively on. That's not them saying, well, eventually. Well, we said it was launching exclusively on. Anytime they've done timed exclusives, they make it crystal freaking clear it's a timed exclusive. There is absolutely no way they walk that back. I do not think that that is happening. No way. Let me show you the tweet in question. I don't think so. Of all people, I would never expect this to come from you, Paul. Hang on, I gotta switch cap cards. Here's the tweet from Aaron Greenberg. And Paul thinks that the word launching indicates that this game might eventually get to other platforms. Starfield will be and launching. He even has a typo. He even has a typo in here. Will be launching exclusively on Xbox Series X, S, and PC on November the 11th, 2022. There's no way this is going to PlayStation. That is not what launching exclusively means. Whenever they do a console timed exclusive, they say that it will be a timed exclusive. It will be a limited exclusivity or something like that. I don't think Starfield, but you think a primarily software company isn't looking at 120 plus million users and being like, we need to sell to them? It's a very vague way to announce an exclusive. Look at the image. What do you mean? The image that he tweeted says Xbox exclusive. Have they ever done that and been like, well, it's a timed exclusive? The only time they did that was with Tomb Raider, and it was crystal clear that it was a timed exclusive. I don't agree with this take at all, Paul. I mean, I appreciate having, counterpoints and different views. That gives us a great thing to debate. How's it 20 million? PS5 only sold like 20 million? Yeah, I guess that's true, Eugene. We need to dial that back. This game's being built for next gen only, so it would only launch on PS5 if it did. Still, it's a lot of people. That's a lot of potential sales. Janet's Haven put some flowers in chat over here. Thank you, Janet. The game ain't coming to PlayStation. Yeah, no way. No way. How is that vague? I don't think that tweet reads vague at all. Oh, you're not saying Starfield. I see what you're saying, Eugene. You're saying like other titles potentially. Oh, I don't think Starfield, but do you think a primarily software company isn't looking at 120 million plus users and being like, we need to sell to them? Right. He wasn't saying Starfield. He was just saying we want to get our software and our content out there, especially if they're buying exclusivity rights, if they're buying up some of these developers. What about PC? Isn't Starfield going to PC as well as Game Pass? Yes, it's hitting Xbox Series X, S, and PC all on Game Pass as well. Sony can, in theory, drop a lot of games before Starfield in November. Microsoft needs more than just Starfield. I don't know if I like getting into the whole debate about like what Microsoft needs in light of what Sony is doing. Do you know what I'm saying? To be fair, launching exclusively on reads differently than will be exclusively on. Well, no. Okay, hang on. We have to break down the sentence. If you guys really want to get pedantic or semantically driven here, let's really break down the sentence and see why what he said makes perfectly good sense. Okay, just track with me here. Track with me here. He is announcing the launch date. It will be launching on November 11th, 2022. The sentence structure makes sense when you see in context the purpose of this tweet is to establish the launch date. He's establishing the launch date. So that's why he's phrasing it that way. He's saying more than exclusivity. Now, he could have said, Starfield will be launching on November the 11th, 2022, and will be exclusively available on the Xbox Series X, S, and PC. But he's dealing with limited characters here, so he wrapped it up into one sentence. Starfield will be launching exclusively on Xbox Series X, S, and PC on November the 11th, 2022. He then attaches an image, if there's any doubt, that says Xbox exclusive on it. And it says the Xbox Series X, S, Game Pass, and PC game at the bottom to ensure you know where this will be. This is why you got to run everything by the lawyers. What do they mean when they say enough? Enough to what? I'm not sure what you're responding to, Lewis. I can't imagine Microsoft allowing new games from first-party devs onto PlayStation, outside of Sony allowing Game Pass on their console, which isn't going to happen. Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't see it. I do not see that statement as being timed exclusivity. Here's an apology. Bethesda VP apologizes for Starfield being an Xbox exclusive. Let's read this. Hey, we got another coffee order. 3 coffee orders for the day from Lanigan. Lanigan grabbing some light roast. Thank you so much. Enjoy that dope coffee. If you guys have never had coffee with balanced acidity before, you need to try our coffee. Go to ragelessroast.com. The other domain is going to be so much easier to say. You can go to ragelessroast.com or use the coffee command in chat or the coffee link below and order some coffee today. Okay, Bethesda VP apologizes for Starfield being an Xbox exclusive. Pete Hines says he understands why PlayStation 5 owners might be unhappy or frustrated. Says narrow focus helps. I don't know how to allay the fears and concerns of the PlayStation 5 fans other than to say I'm a PlayStation 5 player as well, and I've played games on that console, and there's games I'm going to continue to play on it. But if you want to play Starfield, it's PC and Xbox. Sorry. All I can really say is I apologize. Yeah, it's not a limited time thing. You don't have the VP of Bethesda saying that if it's timed exclusivity. If it was timed exclusivity, he would be vague. He would leave room. He would say something to the effect of, for now, that's what we think is best, or that's the decision or the status of the game for now. There is quite literally no way. The coffee is stupid good. It's the only reason I keep coming back to these streams. Could be worse. They could force you to buy an Xbox if you wanted to play it, but they're not. They will time exclusive the game if it doesn't sell well. The majority of Microsoft owners don't spend money. They will expect the game to be on Game Pass, and it won't be. It's going to be on Game Pass. What are you talking about, Skiffy? What is happening? I'm in another universe now where people are saying false things in the negative about Xbox. What do you... No. Starfield... What is happening? Starfield is an Xbox exclusive. It will not come to Sony. It will be on Game Pass day one. That's the facts. That's it. That's all been stated. The VP of the company just explicitly stated it is an exclusive. It is never coming to the Sony platform. And it will be on Game Pass. That has been said tons of times. It's not timed. They own the dev. They don't need to say anything like that. Oh, Paul, I just don't see that at all being... Do you have any idea? Okay, I want you to think about what you're saying. I want you to think about what you're saying, Paul. Let's play a little experiment called Paul is Right. And it has to be an experiment, because you rarely are. Oh, golly. Anyway, that was a good one. Okay, let's play a little experiment. Paul's right. It's they have plans to bring it to Sony. So, Microsoft spent how many billions to acquire Bethesda? They launch this game, and they tell everybody, first party, exclusive, PC and Xbox only, and it's on Game Pass, okay? Then then they decide later to put it on the Sony platform. So they basically spent a ton of money to secure a company and their property, only to put it on another platform later at the cost of a PR nightmare. The Microsoft fans would feel absolutely betrayed by that. So you spent billions to buy property that you're not even going to keep on your platform exclusively. Oh, and you promised that you would, and now you're not. So now you made your brand look terrible, less appealing, and your consumers are ticked off. You have to understand how incredibly unlikely that outcome is. The money would have to be insane. Projected sales of Starfield on PlayStation would have to be nosebleed worthy for them to take that on the chin publicly. Just crunch. Oh, Microsoft spends 40-something billion to acquire Bethesda, and then they take their title, say it's exclusive, but it's not. Oh, that would be horrible for them. The confidence in the Game Pass and the Microsoft ecosystem and the Xbox Series X as a platform would be incredibly damaged by that. It won't be Starfield? No. I am open to the fact that they're going to look at certain properties and say, this property has to be able to be played on PlayStation. It's too big. It's too well known. It's too successful. The Sony footprint's too large. I will grant you that, but not Starfield. Starfield has been way, way too integral. The entire point of my argument today is Starfield is the new Xbox flagship. This is it. Halo, get in a back seat. You failed. Starfield is it. That's the plan. Center stage, center of the branding is Starfield. PC and Xbox are only in the same, are one and the same. They're included in the ecosystem and have been for years. Calling PC the Microsoft ecosystem is disingenuous because that just isn't true. Look at Steam's saturation and foothold in the market, and you see how silly that is to claim. The ecosystem resides on the PC, but the PC is not the Microsoft ecosystem. Gonna be interesting to see what happens with Bungie's new IP. Yeah, maybe. Just got awkward. I gotta go. What happened? Low-key sexy. It is possible. I watch every show with no shirt on, wearing a pair of tattered shorts covered in guacamole. What is happening? It is, or is it not part of the ecosystem? The PC platform, you can't be like, oh, PC's Microsoft ecosystem. No, PC's a platform where you can access the Microsoft ecosystem. It's also a place where you can play Sony PlayStation games. So what are we saying here? You know what I'm saying? There's a Sony Studios store in Steam. Like, what are we even saying? I would like to know the size of the PC user base capable of playing these games. If the Microsoft Game Pass is on PC, it probably feels like I'm being pedantic. Maybe I am being a little pedantic. It's weird to be like, Xbox and PC is the Microsoft ecosystem. No. The ecosystem is on PC, but PC is not the ecosystem. Like, PC, with respect to gaming, is absolutely overshadows Microsoft with respect to where people play games. They play on Steam. Steam is an absolute leviathan in the gaming market. Are you kidding me? PC is just a neutral party. It's merely a platform. That would be like, oh, I can play the xCloud on a mobile device. Therefore, mobile devices are now the Microsoft platform. Like, that would just sound stupid to say because you're talking about iOS and Android, or like those portable NVIDIAs, or like the Steam Deck or whatever. Like, if you get Microsoft xCloud to work on like a mobile gaming device, you wouldn't say, oh, mobile gaming devices are now the Microsoft ecosystem. No, they're not. The ecosystem is available there, but that's not the ecosystem. And soon to be day and date as well. What's day and date? What are you talking about? Like Starfield? Starfield on PC will be on Microsoft Game Pass ecosystem on PC. I don't necessarily know if you know why I'm pushing back on it. I'm pushing back on it because it just comes off as like, oh, the Microsoft ecosystem, yeah, we get to claim PC now. If something happens on PC, that's the Microsoft ecosystem. No, it's not. The Microsoft is a neutral platform where you can access the Microsoft ecosystem. Starfield is literally on Steam. Yeah, it's literally on Steam. I can play Starfield and not touch a single thing of the Microsoft ecosystem. I can quite literally play it on Steam. YouTube says you're not live when I pull up the channel. Yeah, I could tell today I could tell today that something was wrong again. It's like, we had one stream this week where everything felt right, and then it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of fell off again. I don't know. They're still fiddling with stuff. If I search Starfield, we have a decent rank incognito. So I don't think we're getting bumped from, we're not getting bumped from search results. I'm seeing us in search results right to frick now. So it's not that. It's just YouTube's just still fiddling with some stuff. So that's why I keep saying always check your subscription feed and always check my channel, because YouTube's been kind of goofing around with some stuff. So you got to check those places to see if I'm live. You have to. Praying for my K logo. Oh my gosh, creature. No. Go for a picture that looks kind of like a youth group thing. Maybe like church summer camp kind of a thing. Something like that. Something that conveys like youth camp. Because today's about like growing up in the church, like youth, like youth group, something like that. It's hard because you just get a bunch of generic pictures of like, here's a person from every race. Yeah, it's tough. Something like a youth group. Needs to look like a youth group. Louis, I don't know. What's Lewis saying? Lewis says, you can play Microsoft exclusives on Linux. Wheezy says, I've literally never touched the Windows Store, and I never will because it's dog crap, and Steam is pretty much perfect. Curious why not weekly prodigal instead of daily. Daily does have a nice ring to it, because it's not about the episode frequency, it's about what it expresses. It doesn't express the frequency of the episodes, it expresses what my life and journey's been like. It's not about the episodes themselves. Maybe one day it will be. It looks fine. Usually at like restaurants it looks that crunchy. Thanks, Mama. There might be a time and place, Sven, where we do that. We just decide, like, maybe we start housing the content somewhere else. Maybe I start doing the content somewhere else, and it's a daily thing. I don't know. I didn't come up with the name thinking it would be a daily podcast. I came up with the name because it felt like that's what my life experience has been like. I kind of got inspired by a Need to Breathe song where he says, I'm a man in need of daily revival, is what he said. I thought it was a really good line. Need to Breathe is so dadgum consistent. Their albums are so good. Food shot? Did you get a food shot? Here, we got to get a focus food shot for chat. There you go. What is PS5 VRR? It's not the same as Xbox VRR. It's the dollar store version. Based on what? I don't know how VRR works on Sony. Forgive my English for not knowing your intention. I figured maybe it was daily because you'd repurpose the content to other platforms. We knew that was going to be a point of confusion, but I thought the name was too good to not call it that. Your confusion, Sven, is not something that we didn't anticipate. Lono, man cannot live on quesadillas alone. I actually think you could. It has all the basic food groups. Tortillas, cheese, and meat. I mean, that's what my food pyramid looks like. Well, I don't know what yours looks like. Sony is software, Xbox is in the hardware. It's G-Sync, that's it. On all platforms is G-Sync. Who just said that nonsense about quesadillas? Somebody on TikTok. Are you still enjoying Elden Ring? Was it getting stale yet for you? Creed, I am loving my no summons playthrough. We beat Margit and Godric yesterday, and it just felt amazing. I got a little irritated at Godric. A couple of his moves feel like you have to play in a very particular way to dodge or mitigate them. So. Okay, creature, that's enough. Big Man Mo, why would you need Xbox when I have a high-end PC? Yeah, I mean, the VRR differences between Xbox and Sony, is there noticeable differences between how they work? PS5 VRR has a problem is that it doesn't have a toggle on the system. You need to adjust it on the TV? Really? I'm saying you don't, and you won't need a PlayStation soon either. No, you'll need a PlayStation because the first party titles on PlayStation will always hit PlayStation 5 first. You're never going to see, because they've said they will not do parallel development, right? Seriously, I have no title. It's just the same as last week, part 2. Yeah, it's identical to last week. It's just part 2. I don't think we need to change much well, maybe we do. Let me go look at what I said. I might have been too presumptive in thinking we could just use last week's settings. It's just growing up in the church, part 2. No, yeah, you can just use last week's. Yeah. It's literally growing up in the church, part 2. I knew we weren't going to be able to talk about growing up, what it feels like to grow up in a church. I'm like, there's no way I'm doing that in one dadgum episode. So last week was early childhood. This week's youth group. Because it's very different once you're in a youth group the way that I was. Big Man Mo says, so you say, sir, it will happen? No, it won't. You said that Sony's subscription service was going to need to match Microsoft's. It hasn't. You said they're going to need to do day and date or it's DOA. And the CEO of Sony came out and said, the virtuous cycle, we can't put these games on our subscription service day and day. And you said day and date, and you said they would be. CEO quite literally came out and shot down that prediction in flames, Mo. He said, we will not be putting our first-party titles on our subscription service because of the virtuous cycle. He shot that down in flames. They have said they are not doing parallel development. They're not doing parallel development on their first-party titles. They will be ported to PC later. So the CEO is lying, and whoever did the interview about parallel development is lying, and you're correct. He says a lot. Yeah, he has never. So what are we gonna go back to the "we believe in generations" nonsense? Yeah, Jason Schreier's lying. The God of War devs are lying. Yeah. Sony's making a streaming service? Did I say streaming? I meant to say subscription. He's lying, and I'm correct in standing on this hill. So, Mo, your prediction that first-party titles are going to be on the subscription service day and date, they're going to do that. He's lying. There's not a virtuous cycle. They're not counting on the day one and week one sales being super important. Those games are going to be date and date, like you said, and then they're going to launch on PC day and date. So when they said they're not doing parallel development of their first-party titles to port them onto PC so that they can launch at the same time, that's also not true. They're just straight up lying to the public. And you, based on no information at all and no facts, you're like, no, they're lying. It's going to happen. Hear me out. Phil promised Starfield day one on Game Pass. He's lying. Yeah, I mean, how are you determining this? I can't stand with Mo. I'm not with that guy. That's too much, Mo, says Zubair. To clarify, Sony did not add the option to remove auto low latency mode when using VRR. Causes TVs to lock out many display settings. Yo, what's good, Solid Snake? I heard from a couple of YouTube vids that the new God of War will be the last PS4 compatible game, says Creed. Then they're going just PS5. That's true. God of War Ragnarok is probably the last cross-gen game because Spider-Man 2 has been slated as being PS5 only. PlayStation is fine, but we'll follow Xbox. God of War is the last one. It's been announced. If we're on baseless claims today, you know I hear Microsoft's in talks to buy Sony, effectively winning the console war. Cruda Papa says, I love you, Mo, but I doubt PS5 is going to be doing day and date. That's what I mean. Like, basically, Mo, I love that you love Microsoft, but the problem is you make predictions that get shot down in flames, and you're like, no, it's still happening. You're like that guy that predicts the end of the world, and then when it doesn't happen, you're going to be like, well, I got the dates wrong. You know what I mean? Well, the world didn't end when I said, so it's going to be the next thing. So, like, God of War is going to launch and not be on the subscription service for free. You're going to have to buy God of War. And you're going to say, okay, I was wrong about God of War. It's the next game. You know, the next game, Spider-Man 2, will be on the PlayStation subscription service. Because if not, it's DOA. It can't compete with Microsoft if they don't do day and date. And then when Spider-Man 2 is not on the subscription, you're going to say, well, I got the date wrong. It's the next game. You're just going to keep moving it. Like, that's the problem. Like, make good predictions based on trends in the industry or statements or interviews or extrapolate or infer from statements made. You're just literally saying, no, the CEO's lying. They're all lying. The games are going to come out on both platforms, PC and PlayStation, at the same time. It's going to be on the subscription service or it's dead on arrival. And it's like, well, what? There's nothing to base that on. No, sir, I said 1 year and a half, meaning by the end of next year, and it's not changing. No. I don't want to misquote you, but I'm fairly confident when we talked about God of War, you said, Lono, day and date, it'll be on their subscription service. You said they will put first-party titles day and date. Now, if you said, oh, it'll take a year and a half, I don't remember that. I remember being blown away by thinking that you thought God of War Ragnarok would be on day and date. Didn't the first Spider-Man sell like 20 million? Why would they need to put it on the next service? Yeah, Cliff, Sony titles sell so incredibly well. Every time they distribute more PS5s, there's like this insane spike in game sales for Forbidden West, for Miles Morales, Death Stranding. They all spike in sales the minute they put PS5s in circulation. It's insane. Didn't it already get confirmed the new sub service will not be day and date for new titles, even first party? Yeah, and he thinks they're going to walk that back a year later. A year to a year and a half later. He thinks they're just going to completely walk that back because they won't be able to compete with Microsoft. And they're going to have to take their big name titles and throw them on there immediately. So in Mo's prediction, this is Spider-Man 2, according to Mo's prediction then. All right? A year and a half from now, the standard will be Spider-Man 2 hits PlayStation 5 and PC same day, which I think is ridiculous and not going to happen, given they said they're not doing parallel development for ports, so that's not going to happen, unless they were just literally lying to us. Like, so what that... They made those statements, and it only applies to God of War, I guess, because they made those statements, and it didn't happen on Forbidden West. They didn't do on PC, so we know that's true. They're not doing it on God of War Ragnarok. So after that, the statement's just not true. They also stated in an interview, we will not be putting our first-party titles on our subscription service because it'll break the virtuous cycle. But apparently, that's not true. That's only true for God of War Ragnarok. So the CEO of one of the largest gaming companies in the world walked out, made a bold claim about their subscription service that will be true for one title. Come on, Mo. They're going to watch the numbers. You're going to get less third-party AAA titles on Game Pass. Watch the numbers, Mo. They can change their mind. It's not a lie. Right, so Forbidden West did incredibly well. So in order for this statement to be true, in order for its prediction to be true, God of War Ragnarok, one of the most anticipated franchises, one of the most popular Sony franchises, and one of the most anticipated games launching this year, is going to have to sell so abysmally terrible that they're like, oh gosh, we got to do what Microsoft does. We got to throw it on Game Pass. They're not going to do that. Well, their Game Pass, I should say. They would literally have to do... The unthinkable would have to happen for them to be like, yeah, I know we said that, but the virtuous cycle is already damaged and broken. We got to start throwing our first-party titles on the subscription service. Frick out of here. They're not going to do that. Look at the way that Miles Morales sells. Like, look at the way their game title sells. This is such little brother syndrome. It's insane to me. It's actually insane. There is quite literally no way that the CEO goes out and makes this bold statement about the way that their games sell, and then they're going to walk it back. PC sub is terrible? Yeah, it'll dwarf Game Pass subscriptions the week it launches. Just watch. They have so many people in their ecosystem. That's my phrase. It's my phrase now. Doesn't mean it isn't terrible. Sure it does. The value of something in the market is determined by how much support and value perception the consumers see in it. You thinking it's terrible is absolutely superfluous. It doesn't matter if you think it's terrible. It's like people that think record-breaking music sales, they're terrible, okay? No one gives a frick what you think. The market determined that this is great. People buy garbage all the time. Yeah, that just reeks of arrogance. You just look down your nose at popular items because it makes you feel better. You probably use the word overrated a lot because you don't realize it's a lazy criticism to just basically say overrated basically means that's something really popular that I didn't like and I need to make myself feel better about not liking it. So I call it overrated. Activision Blizzard shareholders approved the Microsoft acquisition. More than 98% of the shares voted at the special meeting, and it was voted in favor of the proposed transaction with Microsoft. So the Microsoft acquisition of Blizzard Activision is going forward, pending, the federal government saying yes or no. You do it all the time? Hypocrisy much? What? Wait. When do I espouse something as objectively garbage? When do I do that? And when do I say something's objectively garbage because I didn't like it? When do I say something is overrated? When do I do that? You're going to accuse me of hypocrisy. You're going to take a swipe at my character? Make your case, big man. Step up to the plate. Let's see what you got. They're definitely giving up those sales for paltry subs. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the top 20 video games, what's this image? Year-to-date 2022, top 20 video games. Horizon's in third. Miles Morales is actually still up there. Jiminy freaking Christmas. 13th, previously 10th. God of War is up there. God of War, the original. You want a quick breakdown of the leaks? Hang on one sec. ODZ, the quick breakdown of the Starfield leaks is that a former employee said that they have a ridiculous amount of content, probably too much. They'll have to cut some before launch. They said the engine is bad, and what they meant was, they qualified this later, the engine's hard to work with. Right? So the engine's hard to work with. They said that flying is kind of bad and they don't like it. They said shooting feels pretty good and compared it to Fallout 4. I mean, you can only type 200 characters on YouTube. The person named OK. Have you typed up how I'm being hypocritical? Have you managed to establish a base, or is your baseless claim that I'm guilty of hypocrisy? Was it just a swipe and a childish lash out? Everything that sells is great, cool. Yeah, I didn't say that. I said the market determines if something is good or not. The goodness of an item is subjective to the market. That's how you determine if something's good or not. Now, mechanically speaking, you can objectively say if something's broken. Like, you can buy a toaster and objectively say it's broken and doesn't work. And if it sells incredibly well, that's not a refutation of the objective reality that the toaster is broken and bad. But the subjective approval of the market is all that matters when judging the quality of an item. You not liking it has no bearing on the goodness of the item. Now, what does have bearing on goodness of the item? Is it broken? Does it work? Does the toaster electrocute you when you touch it? Right? But if you're like, that toaster's crap, why? Well, I think it's ugly. No one cares. That's not a determiner of value. Which, what even got us on that? Oh, the Sony subscription model is terrible. Yeah. Again, pure value perception. Not even a serious person would try and objectively judge. And I honestly think you probably could mathematically. If you really wanted to break down the objective, mathematical, measurable reality of the value transmission of the Sony service per dollar, I actually think you could try to make an objective case that it is full of value, to be determined on whether or not you think it's worth the money. But you could make an objective weigh, like you could weigh it objectively and say the number of titles, the number of things, and the number of dollars spent in a year, and then you could compare it to other comparable plans, and I think you might be embarrassed. Popularity doesn't equal good. Oh, you're still here and typing, so you don't have an example of me being a hypocrite. Well, okay, you're a coward. How's that? How's that for a swipe? Thinking through both platforms, Microsoft has a strong Game Pass presence. I think after 6 months to a year, Microsoft will probably switch to making new third and first party games into timed demos. This will encourage buying copies instead of playing forever on Game Pass. The demo model is better for the platform's sustainability. The angry bite of the quesadilla? An example? You want me to search through videos? If you're going to take a swipe at someone's character, it should be pretty easy to substantiate your case. It's not that hard. Do you guys remember that time that OK came in here and said stupid stuff? Yeah, it's not hard. It happened 2 minutes ago. Shouldn't be that hard. Yeah, Akuta Papa, I think people might be looking through the wrong end of the telescope here. I could see Sony's subscription model actually influencing Game Pass, which would be hilarious in light of all the debates we've had. Absolutely hysterical to see that happen. I can see Phil Spencer walking out right now and saying, we find that the support of these games is super important, that the relationship with the developers would be better fostered with the demo of any game that launches on the platform for a certain number of time, increasing the value to our Game Pass subscribers while also allowing lots of games to get good, healthy exposure and potentially have revenue support. You never just said a flippant opinion about something then? Like, okay, that doesn't look good, even though it does? Well, I think I'm more commonly known for saying that's the best game that I couldn't get into, or it's an amazing game that I just don't like. I mean, I consistently talk about sometimes about how I don't like it, but it's actually incredibly popular. I do this all the time. To accuse me of hypocrisy in this realm when I consistently say things like, I don't like Hades, but boy oh boy is it super popular. That's not the same as me saying, oh, it's bad. That's all I just did without having to put up disclaimers. Sometimes you don't. Oh my gosh. You said, let's retrack here because it's easy for you to try to slip out of this. You said that the Sony PlayStation sub model was terrible. I said it'll have more subscriptions in Game Pass day one that they launch it or week one that they launch it. And you said that doesn't mean it's not terrible. So, when faced with the reality that lots of people will think it's worth it, you cling to and hold to and affirm that it's still terrible. And then when I push back on that, you said I do that all the time, and you called me a hypocrite. So with respect, frick all the way off. Really, truly frick all the way off. That is not how you argue with somebody. You take a swipe at my character, now you're trying to weasel out of it by being like, I just didn't qualify it. No, you stuck to your guns and said it was still crap, even though it was popular, and then asserted that I do that all the time. I call something crap, even though it's popular. I've never done that. I don't do that. Eververse was terrible and eaten up doesn't mean it was good. I defended that all the time as being one of the most player-friendly, most player-respecting microtransaction store ever. You never did that, you win. Like I said, you're a coward. You're the guy that takes a cheap shot and then hides from the guy that turns around and wants to rumble. That's who you are. Yeah, that's a good thumbnail. You don't do it, never did? Yeah, you're being sarcastic because whatever. You've officially got put into the category of not being worth my time. Is bad at Deathloop, and that's why he doesn't like it? Oh, Lono's bad at Deathloop, and that's why he doesn't like it. The bear just said Armageddon was terrible. I revoked the right to pizza for all eternity. The callback was a joke, but that's actually 100% true. It's one of the most offensive insults to us. You can see it in how we discuss things, too. We are always lambasting hypocrisy. Oh my gosh. Are you perpetuating the joke from earlier? Oh, yeah. You will need to be an exact example. Being called a hypocrite is very offensive to our people. Frick you, Shavis. Come on, bro. To be fair, if anyone wants to back themselves up, it's hard to do it in chat. To be fair, calling somebody a hypocrite's just not needed. It's really easy to not do that, Butters. Honest question, says Immortal Turtle. If Starfield is to be their flagship, do you see it moving consoles or Game Pass? Both. Both, Immortal. I broke that down in the open. So what I said was, you have to look at it from the very beginning of this. Microsoft buys Bethesda, and then they're going to put this thing next gen only, and it's going to be on Game Pass day and date. So if you wrap that all up into one package, it's like Microsoft sees Starfield as being central to their strategy. Therefore, I'm concluding this is their new flagship. They are backing it big time. That's where I'm coming from on it. Like, that's why when earlier Paul was like, oh, it says it's launching exclusively, they're giving themselves an out so it can launch on other platforms. I'm like, there is no frickin' way. No. Everything they've done, everything they've spent, every interview about it, absolutely not. Starfield is the new flagship for the Microsoft platform. Think about the fact that they're going to use it to sell Series X. There will be, I bet you there's Starfield Series X combos. I bet. This is another reason why I'm asking if you think it's going to be a live service game. You think they're going to spend all this money and then Starfield launches and then 6 months later? They want it to be ongoing. They want people to, oh, that Starfield game, I hear it's dope. I better get Game Pass. I better get a Series X. Popularity doesn't necessarily equal quality. It doesn't necessarily equal equality, but generally speaking, when it comes to like a subscription service or something of that nature, it 100% is the determiner of value. The market determines the value. It's not a matter of your feelings or your opinions. That was the point I was saying. It's not like a toaster that can be broken or a game that can be broken. It's a subscription service. Like you can't defend Cyberpunk how bad it was when it launched. You can't defend it with its quantity of sales. That would be idiotic. It was a broken toaster. It was a bad game, objectively, measurably bad. So, no, I wasn't trying to indicate like, oh, if something's popular, it's always good. In the realm of the discussion, yes. If an album sells really well and a ton of people love it and the band sells out concerts, the market's determined that this is valuable and good, even if you don't like it. They're overrated. Okay, they're selling out their global tour. Shut the frick up. No one cares what you think at that point. How is any Microsoft exclusive on console a console seller when you can just play it on PC? That's what I've always done. That's actually a good question. I think the idea is, what's good, African Jedi? I think the idea is they have existing Xbox users that are going to have a really strong reason to upgrade. There's also lots of people that just like to have a console and they don't want to mess with PC. There's also cost of PC versus cost of an Xbox. There's a lot of reasons why it will move Series X consoles for sure. Yeah, PCs are a tough sell for a lot of the market. A lot of the market. I think they're a tough sell. It's expensive. You got to worry about drivers. You can't just plug it into your TV. You know, you got to have like a desk and a monitor and a key. We got to do all this stuff. A lot of people are like, oh, that's a freaking headache. No, thank you. This playlist has voices. I never have my headphones on anymore. There's somebody singing. I've not... Hang on. Let me do by date added. They've not added any new music since last summer. Nobody's ever remarked about there being a voices. You can just plug a PC into a TV. Wheezy, I was speaking about consumer perception. Do you think the average consumer thinks that or knows that or is going to do that? You know the trouble they have to go through sometimes to even get that to work? But you're going to need a wireless mouse and a wireless keyboard. You're going to need a place to set up the mouse and the keyboard. You're going to need to get the controller working with the PC unless you want to plug it in and run a cable across your dadgum living room. Like, the average consumer's looking at that and they're like, are you freaking kidding me? I don't want to do that. Are you nuts? That sounds like a dadgum nightmare. Yo, what's good, Vapor? Like, literally HDMI cable into PC? Well, I mean, I know. I did it. I have a PC right now in my living room plugged into my TV, and you know what? It's a pain in the butt to do anything with it. I had to find one of my wireless mice. I had an extra one. Had to use that wireless mouse with it. I'm telling you, I think the average consumer looks at it, and that is a significant barrier. You're trying to convince somebody to spend more money on the equipment and go through more steps to hook it up to their TV. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're looking at it from the lens of like, it's not that hard, what's the big deal? But for the consumer, so what you're telling me is, I can choose between an Xbox Series X that I need 2 cables for. A power cable and an HDMI cable. Ethernet, obviously, if you want to plug directly in. But it's got Wi-Fi. That's it, I'm done. Just this little nice box. Or I'm going to go over to PC and I'm going to buy a PC and it's got all these cables coming out the back. It costs twice as much as the Xbox. And I got to figure out how to type and use this from my couch. Like, you see what I'm saying? I think that's such a hard sell to the average consumer. I'm not trying to sell you. The average consumer that walks into Best Buy is not going to do that. The average consumer isn't a caveman. Have you ever worked in sales? Wheezy, you've never worked with the public and it shows. The average consumer isn't a caveman. Yeah, said no salesperson ever. Oh, golly. You have? Brother, I worked in tech. I worked in TV, DVD players, and digital cameras at Best Buy. Homie, the people that come in, they want it to be simple. They don't want to have to do anything. Everything needs to be just A to B, plug and play. Like, I worked in tech support for Charter for 7 months. Homie, the public is not at all where we are with respect to tech. You would be surprised at how many people called me. Middle-aged married men and women that got no clue how to operate their television. And you're going to be like, bro, just plug your computer in. Or instead of an Xbox. I was both a Marine and I used to work in sales before that. I've worked with, for, and teaching dumb people. Right, like, I'm just... When we're speaking about the average consumer, Wheeze, any barrier or any extra step is a huge problem. They're learning this even on web design, okay? They're learning how many clicks you have before somebody leaves your website, right? Because people are incredibly impatient. So, you're talking about increasing the price, increasing the number of steps needed, and potentially increasing the number of pieces of equipment that I need. Yeah, I know. Remember the age of the average consumer now? Right, but even if they're technologically savvy, Wheezy, I'm technologically savvy. Do you think I'm going to walk into Best Buy and spend more money and have to go through more steps, or just buy the Xbox Series X? Like, if we're talking about people that have an incentive to buy the Series X to play Starfield, instead, I'll get a PC, or I already have a PC or whatever. If I go in there like, oh, no, do you have a PC? How strong is it? I don't know. It's got 2080 Ti in it. So I know a little bit more than the average consumer about my computer. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, even myself, I would go in and be like, brother, just give me the cheap box that plugs into my TV so I can turn it on and play my video games. There is no way, even people that understand what you and I are talking about are not going to spend more money and go through extra steps. There's just absolutely no way. It's a massive barrier of entry. To pretend it's not, I don't know. I don't think that that's engaging with the reality of what consumers are doing. PC gaming is going to take off, absolutely no doubt in my mind. It is taking off and will continue to take off. But when we're comparing, like, somebody's motivation to go into a store and buy a console versus a PC right now, I just don't see people going through those steps and spending that money. I see plenty of people seeing Starfield, thinking it sounds dope, going to the store and walking out with a computer. And walking out with a console and not a computer. I said that backwards. I'm trying to read at the same time. Where is our member stream from last week? Here it is. No. Members only. Members only. All right, I'm posting that. All right. I'm going to redirect. If you're not a member, you can't go to the next stream. It's just a real it's kind of a shorter members only thing that we do. Today on Reforge Radio, it's not members only, okay? Reforge Radio is only members only on Fridays, okay? Every Thursday on Reforge Radio, I'm taking you through my spiritual journey. We're calling it the Daily Prodigal, right? Calling it the Daily Prodigal. And so that will be over there in an hour and a half. So make sure you check out Reforge Radio if you want to be there. You can ask me all kinds of questions about what I believe and what it was like growing up in a church and a youth group. It was interesting and kind of weird and kind of strange at times. So if you want to be there for that, that's happening in an hour and a half. If you want to join us for the AMA stream that's about to happen, that is something you need to be a member for. So you can click the join button right now. You can why does it not let me ever see the video? They make it so hard to find the content. They make it so hard to find the content. But if you want to come with us right now, you got to click the join button, !join, or use the join link in the description below, right? Man, my nose is driving me crazy again today. These stinking allergies. All right, here we go. All right, I'm doing that. I'm going to do the announcement in Discord because the 1 week people said that they didn't get pinged in Discord about it and they got upset. Not upset, but they're like, oh, I missed it. I didn't know you were doing that. Gaming. I'll tweet it. I'm not going to retweet it by my main. I'm just going to tweet it on the smaller. Wait, it's on auto start. We don't want it on auto start. Why did it do that? Hang on a second. Ping members. Yeah, redirect's not going to work, I guess. I swear we redirected last week. Well, it still should take you over there when I end this stream. It still should take you over there when I end this stream. So use the link in chat. Head over there. I'll see you guys over there for the members only AMA. In an hour and a half, I will see you on Reforge Radio. If you're watching on TikTok, right? You guys are the best. Watch me on youtube.com/Reforge Gaming right now if you're a member. Or head over to Reforge Radio, youtube.com/Reforge Radio. So that is in an hour and a half. I'll see you members in just a second over there on the members only AMA that we're about to do.